What's crackalacking everyone, Luxense here, your coach of the Hangzhou Sparkling Aria, and today I'm here with my Week 6 battle versus DRACO and his Portland Timburrs. Please go check them out in the description below, as I say with every video. All my opponents in this league are probably much better content creators than I am, so if you like Draft League content, don't check out me, check out them in the description down below. Now, as you can see here, we brought Dialga, G-Slowking, Feeny, Weavile, Zapdos, and Tangela, no Mienshao this time. Lead initially here was planned to be Dialga, but after some reconsidering, I decided to go with Zapdos in the end. Dialga was mainly there as a lead for the Rhyperior, because if Rhyperior is there, then it's likely that he wants to get up early rocks, and my Dialga does actually beat the Rhyperior with my set. So, seeing that not there, and seeing that Metagross was the only rocker, I didn't want to risk just going hard Dialga. So, into potentially like an Urshifu or something like that. So I figured that Zapdos would be the better lead. It doesn't struggle versus anything in particular here, so I felt like that was a good lead here. G-Slowking is made to take on the Naganadel. As you can see, Tapu Fini is there for the Urshifu Rapid Strike. Weavile is there as a good revenge killer for both the Thundurus, the Naganadel. There's a Rude, pretty much everything here outside of maybe the Metagross. So it is what it is there. And right here, I think DRACO leads with the Thundurus Eye. Right? Yes, he does. Also, go check out Jack in the description down below. He's the commissioner of the league, so you do both me and him a huge favor if you go check him out. But he does lead with the Thundurus as I lead with my Zapdos. And I do just go for the U-turn. There's not really a reason for me not to make the play. It doesn't hurt me or anything. He could knock me off, which isn't the biggest of deals. I don't really care about Boots in this game if his rocker is Metagross. This is designed to beat Metagross either way. So that is all good. Let's take a while for the play to happen. So I assume he's thinking like, do I want to go into G-Slowking? Do I want to do anything else? And that's also another reason why I don't just go hard G-Slowking. Knockoff is a potential bring from his Thundurus, and I could definitely see him having it. So I didn't want to just go out into my G-Slowking and lose my Assault Vest, as he does go for the knockoff. Revealing that I am the Boots Zapdos. Now, I can just U-turn freely here into my Weavile, as his Weavile switches aren't great. As you can see, I'm having some Joy-Con drift, which is really annoying. But I do end up going out into my Weavile, and as you can see, my Weavile is a bit of an interesting set with Knock, Ice Shard, Psycho Cut, and Fake Out. Now, Psycho Cut will do a massive chunk to the Urshifu as I'm Extra Belt and Adamant, but Knock should do a good chunk to this Thundurus, and he can only outcome me with something like Superpower or Focus Blast, but since he would be fearing the Triple Axle or the Icicle Crash or anything of the sorts, I don't think he would just stay in here and give me this Thundurus. It is much more likely that he does go out into the Urshifu, which for me is very nice, because that just means I get a free knock. I get to see what item this is. I get a crit, which is a little unfortunate for him, but he does end up being pads. I thought about going into Feeny here, but I felt the Zapdos play was nicer. I lived a Stone Edge from this point. I lived anything from his Urshifu at this point. So getting a potential static chance on a U-turn or on a Searching Strikes felt better than the risk of taking a Stone Edge for me. So I do end up just going for that. And as I said, I did live the Stone Edge, so I maybe unless no, I think I did live the Stone Edge regardless. I could calc that real quick, but you know what? I am going to do that real quick. I think I go out into Dialga here though. Or not. I could also just click Hurricane, because he would fear Thunderbolt, Cure, or Discharge, so he wouldn't stay in. but I am actually somewhat curious as to what that role ended up being. As he does switch out into the Thunderous, willing to take whatever I throw at him. I do think I just throw off a Hurricane and I miss, which is a little unfortunate. I think I Roost here just to scout what he wants to do in case he wants to knock off, in case he wants a Thunderbolt. Sorry that, or I go for a U-turn. I do go for the Roost. Let's see. I do go for the Roost as he just throws off an attack at me. I think that was Thunderbolt, at least. To give a rough calc, his Urshifu did... And I'm like kinda stalling a little bit because of this, especially with the turns and stuff like that. But his Urshifu did 124 max, so Zapdos would have never died. I would have been at like 30 health, to be fair, but what it's looking like, he's more likely to have spikes than rocks, so I would potentially be able to roost up and stuff like that, so I was willing to take that damage, as he does go for the U-turn here, which is completely fair play, as I think I go for a Heat Wave at this point in time. Could also go for a Hurricane. I don't remember exactly what I do, as I do go for the Heat Wave here, as I just said I don't remember exactly what I did because I was in the calc checking whether the Stone Edge did in fact kill, but it did not. Unless he was any sort of boosting item, which we saw he was not because we knocked him off, so he wouldn't even have said item anyway. I do just go out into G-Sloking here, there's no reason for me not to. It's my dedicated Naganadel check. I think I made it so that it lives +2 life for DRACO after rocks, so we should never be dying to this Pokemon. Either way, I think he's debating whether he Dracos here, whether he goes for the Nasty Plot or potentially double out or anything like that. But as you can see, he does just go for the Draco here, probably just to scout my play, which is completely fair. I think it's what I would have done as well. As we can see, it does about 71, which is a third of my health. And that's pretty good for me, because that means I will always gain back about as much as Draco does to me. So we see that he's not Life Orb, which is really good. And I think I go for an Ice Beam here, if I end up clicking a move at all, that is. Please. Well, if I recall correctly, I go for an Ice Beam here. I'm probably calcing or something like that. But I go for the Ice Beam because if I were to go for a Psychic and he goes a Rude, then that's bad for me. If I go... Actually, I may have gone for a Flamethrower here, now that I think about it. I do end up going for the Flamethrower here because my logic was he either goes Metagross or he goes Rude because he's not staying in with the Naganadel. So, Flamethrower covers both of those and I can make the play for that. As we do catch that out. This does a lot of damage and it does trigger Weakness Policy, which is a little annoying, since if he goes for an Agility, I'm forced to go into Zapdos and stuff like that. But something that he told me after the game is that he meant to be lonely instead of naughty for this type of scenario. I don't know how much that would have mattered, considering I do have my Tangela here that can kind of just beat this Metagross. Unless he's like max attack Psychic, I live any special move he throws at me. He has to be Earthquake, he has to be Rock move, and if he's Psychic then he doesn't really break through Feeny very well. So there's a lot of things to consider there, I'd say. But I do just end up going out into the Zapdos. It's my most expendable Pokemon, as I said. It's not really here for a specific purpose. It's more so there as a general good blanket check to some of his mons, Metagross included, as he does end up throwing off the Earthquake, which is completely fine by me because now I can just throw off a free Heat Wave and get a kill on this Metagross if he does decide to stay in. And if he stays out, If he switches out, I do get some nice chip damage on something in the back, which is good for a Dialga endgame or a Weavile endgame or anything of the sorts. Now, I think he does debate here whether or not he wants to preserve just Metagross, which is completely fair. Agility Metagross in the late game could be pretty good, depending on whether you can get the chip on my Pokemon, but I think he decides here that getting a Heat Wave off is more valuable, seeing as he will just be able to go into Naganadel and click Nasty Plot, click Draco, click whatever the fuck he wants, really. As my Zapdos obviously can't really touch this very well. As he does bring out the Naganadel here, which isn't great for me, of course, but I do just have the G-Slowking right here. I think he just goes for a Nasty Plot here, so he knows that the G-Slowking wants to come out. Which is fine for me. I can live any hit that he goes for. I think I go for an Ice Beam at this point though, because the Metagross is no longer alive, so there's no reason for me to go for Flamethrower. Ice Beam covers the Zarude as well. And seeing as I have Flamethrower for Zarude, he might not think I have Ice Beam. So I think I just go for that play here. As at this point, I'm probably looking through Naganadell's moveset to see if he has anything stronger than Draco to kill me. But knowing that Draco does 140 at +2, that's completely fine by me. I do think I go for the Ice Beam here though, as I'm very indecisive on my play, it seems. I do go for the Ice Beam, as I said. It should kill Naganadel from his range, as he goes for the Dark Pulse. And now, if this flinches, that's annoying. If it doesn't, then we just get a kill, and it does flinch. So at this point, I do die to a Draco, which obviously is not ideal. So I have to consider what my best play is here, and to me that is sacking off the Zapdos right here. Now, as I said, this is a little annoying because I would have just killed Naganadel at this point, but in the end, it's not that big of a deal. Even if it didn't kill, I did have the Weavile on the back with Ice Shard to kill. I do have Fake Out and Ice Shard, so I can generally chip this Naganadel down. As I said, it's just a little annoying because now I have to sack the Zapdos, which costs me a point of diff, obviously. But it is what it is. He does go for the Draco, and quite frankly, +2 Draco is always just going to kill the Zapdos. As a Spatak drop does happen, we do see that his Beast Boost activates and gives him another Spatak boost, meaning that he's more than likely, or that he has to be modest over timid, or he's neither, and he has some type of boosting set for special attack either way. But this leads me to believe that he's just modest, max attack, max speed, because I think that perfectly like outsped Mienshao or something like that. And generally that's probably just better anyway. But at this point I can just go for the Ice Beam here again. Or I think I went for the Psychic, maybe, I didn't really see. As he does go out into the Zarude, while I go for the Ice Beam here. I'm getting a nice bit of chip onto this thing. You can't see that it's probably Spadef or some sort of AV set, with the fact that it took pretty little damage from the Ice Beam. I don't have my Zapdos anymore, which was my general pivot, but I do have the Tangela still, which was also here for the Zarude and the Metagross, and to an extent the Rhyperior, since it can just kind of sit here and do whatever the fuck it feels like. It can knock off, it can Sludge Bomb, whatever. As he does U-turn here, I think out into the Nagana though. Once again, he doesn't really have a reason not to do that, as it does kind of give him a free nasty plot right here. I considered staying in for a little bit to try and knock his item, but if he did go for the attack, like a DRACO or something like that, and I lose my Tangle, I lose my pivot into Zarude, which is really annoying, especially for an endgame potentially. So I do just go out into my counter to Naganadel, as he goes for the nasty plot again. Now if he gets the Dark Pulse flinch again here, I do just have to sack my G-Slow King, and that's really annoying because this is the main thing that forces any pressure on this Nagandel without having to get a kill first for my Weevil to come out. So he does go for the Dark Pulse. It does a large chunk of damage, but we do not flinch and we do get the Psychic off here, which means that this Nagandel is now dead. Very good for me, as I don't have to worry about that thing anymore. And I can now luckily just not worry about some weird bee just setting up the +2 and killing me. He does go out into the Selgor here, which to me is looking like it will be Spikes. It seemed likely from the fact that he brought it, but I don't really know what he would want to be specifically, so I do just go for the Flamethrower here, I think. If he wants to make a U-turn play out into the Zarude or make some type of different play, Flamethrower felt good as a coverage move. He has the Thunderous left over, and he has the Urshifu left over. Psychic would be better against both of those. Sludge Bomb would still be good against both of those, but I figured Flamethrower was a safe play here just to see what type of damage I could get on this Iselgor potentially, as he does just go for the Spikes. I lived any move from this thing on the final Gambit anyway at this point, since I'm very Spadef and AV. I do get the burn, doesn't really matter because any move would have killed on the next turn anyway. So I do just go for the Sludge Bomb since it covers every single one of his Pokemon. And I have gotten the necessary damage to put this in Sludge Bomb range. So we get to fire off a free Sludge Bomb as the Iselgor clicks Spikes. Once again, now there's 2 layers, and I do get the kill onto the Iselgor right here. Now Spikes could be a little annoying in the end game if he is Aqua Jet on Urshifu. I initially had Bandit Urshifu in the calc, so I thought that was doing like 55%. There was a little bit of lag there. It's kind of annoying. As he just goes a Rude here, which isn't really the biggest issue to me. I can just go out into my Tangela and not really have a care in the world. I figured he would U-turn, but I would rather be able to heal my G-Slowking a little bit than have Tang at full health. I don't really need this mon specifically for anything. It's nice for the Zarude in case it's like a bulk upset, because they do have the Sludge Bomb, but at this point I do also have a Fake Out Eyeshard Weavile that can revenge a potential bulky Scarf set or anything of the sorts. And I do think we might have seen leftovers, I'm not sure if we did. Okay, so we didn't see leftovers, but this Zarude just kind of sits here now. I can Sludge Bomb for free. I can also Synthesis, which I think I might do, just to scout what type of move you want to go for. I do go for Sludge Bomb first, alright. As he does go for the Darkest Lariat, which doesn't 2-hit KO at this point. It does literally 30 or 40 damage or something. I get the Sludge Bomb off, get a massive chunk of damage, which is really nice for me. I can just sense this now. This is now an Ice Shard range. I don't have to worry about this. It does show that he's not some sort of choice set. He does switch up moves here, which I don't know what set this is at this point because Sludge Bomb did a lot of damage from a Tangela. So, as he does go into the Thunderous here, while I go for the Synthesis, this allows me to be out of range for a Focus Blast or a Thunderbolt prior to knockoff, which is really good because this allows me to get some free damage on this Thunderous with the knockoff. Knocking off the item on this Thunderous is nice If it's some sort of Yachi set or something like that, I would be able to deal with that. But as we do see, it is just heavy duty boots. Now, at this point, I die to like any move from this Thunderous, other than Thunderbolt. Actually, I wouldn't die to Thunderbolt or Knock, but like a Focus Blast or something like that would just kill me here, and he does go for the Focus Blast and hit, meaning that Tangela does go down here, unfortunately. Strong performance though from the little guy. It's his first game. He's doing well. He has stopped the Zarude from being too annoying, and he certainly did his job in killing some of the other Pokemon on this team. Now, right here, I do just go into my Weavile. I can freely revenge this with Ice Shard, but I do decide to go for the Fake Out here. I'm pretty sure. Maybe I go for Knock, but I think I go for the Fake Out. Just in case he wants to stay in, I get free damage on this without risking Knock not killing or anything like that. If he goes out into the, or him being faster randomly, if he goes out into the Urshifu, I do get free chip on that as well. So there really was no reason for me not to do that. He does end up going out into Zarude, which is a bit more annoying, I guess, but Fake Out does just pick up the kill. So now he does get the free Urshifu, but at this point, the game is looking like it's over, at least in my eyes. He only has the Urshifu and he has the Thunderous, which I don't think can break too well through my Feeny, through my G-Slowking and that type of stuff. Now, if he goes for like Surging Strikes here or CC, that's going to be really tough. If he goes for Poison Jab, maybe he can pull it back, or if he goes for a U-turn, he can go out into his Thunderous that way. But for the most part, this is looking quite dire for him, I'd say. I could even defog here if I really wanted to, but I don't want to give the Thunderous like a Defiant boost or anything like that, obviously. So I think he might just Surging Strike here, just to try and get damage on whatever comes out. As I do think I go for the Moonblast. Right? Me, I go for the Moonblast. So he Surging Strikes. Does pretty abysmal damage. I think that does 11, 12, actually. It does about 12 to 11 per hit, so it's really not that much. And I do gain a hefty chunk back, essentially negating one of his hits, which is unfortunate for him. I get to fire off a free Moonblast here as he does go for the U-turn, since we knew he was pads. And this Thunderous is going to take a fat Moonblast from my Feeny here. As at this point, Weavile kills with anything. The Urshifu also just kind of dies to Psycho Cut at this range most of the time. So it's really just seeing, alright, is he actually going to die to that, or do I need to go Feeny afterwards and kill with that? That was the main thing, really. I just think I actually live a close combat, I want to say, with Dialga, because I was very fist deaf, but I don't think it would have even come to that scenario. He goes for a Thunderbolt here, does an okay amount of damage, combined with the spikes. I just go for a Psychic. If he happens to want to go out into the Urshifu, it covers that play, so there's no reason for me to go for anything else. But he does go for a knockoff here, which I believe just kills the G-Slowking here. As he does go for the knockoff, and that does kill G-Slowking. Now, it's completely fine by me. G-Slowking did his job. It did phenomenal this game, in fact. And I can just go out into my Weavile. Ice Shard will always kill this. I can Fake Out just to be safe if I really want to. It's not really anything that he can do to stop this. I think I go for the Fake Out just to be safe. But at this point, the game is just over. Weavile just needs to click whatever button it feels like for 3 mons. So I might go for knockoff actually, because obviously Weavile without speed and does slightly more damage than Fake Out, versus the Urshifu. So I do just go for knockoff, as the Urshifu does come out at this point. And the only real question is, does the Psycho Cut kill? Which, it's looking like it will from the calcs, but it's doing like around 60%, which is what it looks like it's at. So it could be slightly over, slightly under. Depending on what that is, it would or would not kill, but in the end, it does not matter. We get the crit with the high crit ratio move. So we do win this game 3-0. GG's to DRACO. Dark Pulse on the gun, that was a pretty good prank to try and get a flinch on the G-Slowking. It's a cheeky way to get past it, but I do kind of like that. And overall, good game to him. As I said, go check him out in the description down below. And next we face Root and his New Jersey Brobats, I want to say. So I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.